That's exactly right. Did you, you seemed at peace both before and during the game. Pre-game, we watched you. During the anthem, you seemed to go to a place, were you generating calm, focus, confidence? Do you have a mindfulness or meditative practice that you used while you played?
Yeah, well, Phil introduced meditation to us when he came to our team in 99, 2000. And it was something that I instantly gravitated to because I could see the effects. Right? When I used to watch, studying the games, the Bulls teams, and watching their demeanor, watching their composure, playing in a tough place like Utah during the finals and being down 17, but everybody was like this. You couldn't tell if they were down 17 or up 20 or a tie game. It never changed. And I was wondering why the hell that is. And that's when I started doing more research. And when Phil came, I immediately gravitated to it and then found myself accepted the challenge of finding what that space is. And for the 81-point game, man, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about the game. My knee was hurting so much. I didn't know then, but I had a flap of joint of cartilage stuck in my joint line. And so my mind was really trying to go to a place where I don't feel that pain. And the game started, and because of that, I was just in a different space. I wasn't worried about what was to come. I wasn't worried about what just happened. I was just here. And when you're just there in the moment, playing plays right in front of you, your focus is heightened because nothing else matters. And that's the space I've tried to get to.
It's a perfect definition of mindfulness, in the present moment without judgment. And
not for nutrition, though, because I did have a pepperoni pizza the night before the game. And full disclosure, I also had a plain quarter pounder with cheese before the game, so to be young.
Dinner of champions, exactly.
Yeah,
you wouldn't eat that now.
Yeah, nutrition didn't come till later.
So you talk about practice, and I want to underscore that. Allen Iverson, who was a phenomenal player with the 76ers, famously ranted about, when asked by a reporter about missing practice, and he just went, practice, we're talking about practice. I mean, it's practice, not a game. I mean, it was classic. He went on for minutes. Yeah. The Iverson approach is not the Kobe Bryant approach. You really focused on practice. Tell us what you brought to practice and how you sort of made that standard for the rest of your team.
Well, I mean, here's why practice was important to me. Not from just the standpoint that I enjoyed playing. Like, I enjoyed being there. I enjoyed getting better. But as a leader of a team, it's also your responsibility to elevate the rest of the guys. And what people tend to get stuck on a lot is saying, okay, the way to make players better is to pass them the ball when they're open. That's a very trivial way to look at things. What you have to do is you have to get them emotionally to want to be better. You have to get them to an emotional space where they wake up every morning driven to be the best version of themselves, right? And how do you do that? And in practice, for me, it was a chance to drive them, to challenge them, right? And this is where you have to know your teammates, because if it's late, we just had a back-to-back and we had practice the next day, and you show up and guys don't feel like going through the motions, don't feel like practicing. It's important to know each and every one of them individually, personally, because then you know what nerve to touch. Some guys, it's like, okay, come on, we can do this. That'll get them going. Other guys, no. You got to figure out what button to push. Powell was always Spain. If I tell them how they lost in a gold medal to us and how they're going to lose again, how I'm going to beat your ass in practice, just like I beat you in a gold medal game, he'd hate that. He'd hate that. But that's what practice was. You have to drive them. You absolutely have to. And if practice is more intense and harder than a game 7 will be, then a game 7 will be easy. But if it's not, then that's when teams start folding and capitulating.
It's a perfect segue to, how to create a high performance culture with coaches and team leaders. Everybody's sort of got to be on that page of helping you become the best version of yourself. Speaking of that, we have someone who'd like to ask you a question from Seattle. Please roll this question.
Hi, this is Pete Carroll from the Seahawks, joining in with Professor Belasco's class and with one of the all-time greats, Kobe Bryant. I'm thrilled to be part of this night. But I just have one simple question, really. Kobe, you have been one of the all-time great competitors that have ever played in any sport. And I'm real curious to know what it was like for you with all of the grit and all of the makeup that you had to be such a great competitor. What was it like for you to play with people that weren't as gritty as you were? How did you deal with that? How did you set your expectations knowing that you were so far out there? And how did you deal with the players that you played with, knowing that they were still kind of somewhere on the spectrum, but you were on the top of it?
Good question.
It's a great question. My response might sound a little tough, but I'd kill him, I'd bury him. It's tolerance for that and the kind of culture that the Laker organization stood for winning championships is not tolerated. You're going to show up to play and you're going to lollygag through this scrimmage, through this drill. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to let you know I beat you. I'm going to want you to reconsider your professional life choice. And for the most part, people will say, okay, that doesn't make a great teammate. Well, I'm not here to be a great teammate. I'm here to help you win championships. So there's a difference. And fortunately for us and for me, we had an organization that, it was championships or nothing. And they were really good about identifying that and bringing players in here that had that competitive streak and, getting rid of the ones that did not. If I got to fight to get you in the gym, that's a problem. That's a problem. You want players that are gym rats, players that want to be in the gym, that want to work. And then from there, you build on top of that. But if you're lazy, man, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. You're going to make me feel dumber. You're going to lower my level. I don't think so. You can go over there. There's plenty of teams in here where you'll fit right in.
Well, you mentioned...
At the time, they were right down the hall from us. So, they were.
You mentioned the organization, and we're talking about leadership, not just on the floor and the players. Within a basketball franchise, the players, they're accountable to each other, to the coach reports to the GM reports to ownership. Let's look at leadership from both the players' perspective and the organization. So to help us with that, please welcome the president and the controlling owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jeannie Buss. Oh, so good. So good. It's so good to have. I made a call upstairs.
I see.
Welcome to USC campus. When I heard that you were going to be here, I had to stop by and welcome you and tell you thank you for inspiring another generation. I'm sure everybody's enjoying having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's family, man.
Speaking of that, so can you share the relationship between Kobe and the Buss family with your dad and your brothers, and what he's meant to the franchise and your family?
For us, Kobe was drafted at 17, and I'll never forget meeting him. He was a eager young man, and I'll never forget our waiter. We went to lunch, and our waiter, Kobe asked him if he spoke Spanish, and the waiter said, "Yes, I do." And Kobe said, "I'm going to learn Spanish." And I thought that was so odd for somebody so young to give himself a challenge like that. And now you speak beautiful Spanish, Italian. You do your press conferences in both languages. So, the idea that we had a franchise player in this young kid was a gift for our family, and the idea that you have been a Laker for 20 years throughout your entire career. That meant a lot to my father, Dr. Buss, that you were a Laker for life, and you were.
Thank you.
You always will.
So what changes it? We're talking about leadership, and I want you both to answer this. What changes did you notice in Kobe from coming in at 18 to maturing and becoming sort of the leader, not just sort of Shaq and Kobe, but what changes did you notice over time in him?
When you have your star player who is the first one at the gym and the last one to leave, it sets the bar for everybody else. He made my job so much easier because of his leadership. I don't think he ever really gets the credit for the amount of work that he puts in, because he made it look effortless. And sometimes his teammates would get a little frustrated with you because you did set the bar so high. But that's what made the Lakers great for your tenure as a Laker, and we miss you.
In most, as Kobe said, the Lakers play for world championships. They don't play for division championships or conference championships. They play to win it all. And from 1997, when Kobe came in the league, through 2012, the Lakers were in the playoffs all but 1 year. The last few years of Kobe's run, they were a young team and they were out of playoff contention. How does your attitude and leadership deal with changing goals? I know it's good to say that you want to win the championship every year, but it probably wasn't really a realistic one. So how do you adjust? How do you adjust as the team leader? And then what conversations does ownership have with the coaches and teams about rebuilding?
Jeannie is so sweet that she saw me work so hard for so many years. And the last few years, her and Rob, who was at the time my agent, called me and said, listen, we are so sorry for what happened to this team. We're sorry that we don't have, seriously, it's like we're sorry we don't have a team around you that can contend for a championship. I mean, so we can make a few calls and get you on a contending team, if that's something, because we just feel horrible about seeing you going out there and struggle. Remember this? And I sat there and I listened. I said, we've known each other for a very long time. Now I'm questioning myself, because I'm wondering, what about me makes you think I would jump ship? We don't do that.
Because
we don't do that.
We couldn't take losing and how angry you would get.
I know. That's probably what it is.
We were scared.
Yeah, I flipped a few tables. Maybe more than a few tables.
It's like that Kobe face.
I felt bad for Mitch. Well, not really. A little bit.
When we lost to the Celtics in 2008, you and Phil Jackson used to say it's worse to lose in the finals than to not make the playoffs at all. And losing, especially to the Celtics, was that much more difficult. But you just took that right from the court and went to the Olympics and led the team to a gold medal. So you took that, and then you were on a mission to get back into the finals and win, and you did. And like,
we played. But to me, it's fan. Like it's not like the Lakers. I've been a Laker fan since 5 years old, man. I know the Laker history all the way from Minneapolis all the way to where it is today, right? So it's in my blood, and this family, her father, believing in me and standing by me and all sorts of stuff. Like I'm not gonna go anywhere. Like this is home to me. We work through this stuff together, and like as a leader, you gotta be able to take the good with the bad, man. You can't just because the ship's sinking, all of a sudden I'm gonna jump off and swim to another ship like that. You don't do that. Right? If you can win championships in front of everybody, then you could miss the playoffs in front of everybody. You gotta be able to take both sides of it.
or sign with Golden State.
But they weren't losing.
It's the opposite view. It's the opposite view. And
No, it's
perfect.
hard. It's hard to stay.
It is hard.
And that's why in the jersey retirement ceremony, I talked about that. It might have been easier for you to leave, and you didn't. And that,
Yeah. If you're doing something that's so easy, man, you might want to reconsider what you're doing. I can't. Durant's been a friend of mine for a very, very long time. Yeah, I mean, he's been a friend of mine for a long time. So has LeBron and all those guys. Would I make the same decision? No. But that's their decision. That's their choice. I would have stayed, but it is what it is.